What if everything you've been taught about success is wrong? What if the very things you're chasing, approval, consistency, fitting in, are the exact reasons you'll never reach your potential? In 1841, one man wrote the most dangerous idea ever put on paper, and society still doesn't want you to read it. Look around you. Right now, billions of people are living someone else's life. They wake up when they're told to wake up. They want what they're told to want. They chase careers, relationships, and lifestyles that don't even belong to them. And here's the brutal truth. You're probably one of them. In 1841, Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote an essay so powerful, so revolutionary, that it still terrifies people today. It's called Self-Reliance, and in it, he drops a bombshell that most people spend their entire lives running from. Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. Not should be, not could be, must be. Emerson isn't suggesting that you think differently. He's saying that if you want to be truly alive, truly yourself, truly great, you have no choice. Conformity isn't just boring, it's spiritual suicide. He writes, imitation is suicide. Think about that. Every time you copy someone else's path, every time you silence your own voice to fit in, every time you choose approval over authenticity, you're killing a part of yourself that will never come back. But here's what's even worse.
Emerson says something that will haunt you. In every work of genius, we recognize our own rejected thoughts. Think about that for a second. Every great book, every revolutionary idea, every masterpiece, you've had those exact same thoughts, but you dismissed them. You said, that's stupid, or someone would have already done it, or what will people think? And then someone else had the same thought, but they didn't dismiss it. They acted on it, and now they're remembered forever. And you were left wondering, why didn't I do that? Emerson calls this the greatest tragedy of human existence. He writes, a man should learn to detect and watch that gleam of light which flashes across his mind from within, more than the luster of the firmament of bards and sages. That flash of insight you just had, that weird idea that popped into your head while you were in the shower, that feeling that you're meant for something more, that's not random. That's your genius trying to break through. But you ignore it. Why? Because it's yours. And if it's yours, it can't be valuable, right? Wrong. Emerson says, to believe your own thought, to believe that what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men, that is genius. The problem isn't that you don't have great ideas. The problem is you don't trust them. And society has trained you this way.
From the moment you were born, you've been conditioned to look outside yourself for validation. Grades, likes, followers, job titles, other people's opinions, these have become your compass. But Emerson warns, society everywhere is in conspiracy against the manhood of every one of its members. That's not hyperbole. That's a declaration of war. Now we get to one of the most famous lines ever written. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Let me translate that. Stop being so obsessed with being consistent that you refuse to grow. Here's what happens. You say something. You take a position. You make a commitment. And then, months or years later, you realize you were wrong. Or you've evolved. Or you see things differently now. What do most people do? They double down. They defend their old position. Why? Because they're terrified of looking inconsistent. Emerson says this is the mindset of small, weak people. He writes, speak what you think now in hard words, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again, though it contradict everything you said today. And then he drops the mic. Ah, so you shall be sure to be misunderstood. Is it so bad then to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Jesus, and Luther, and Copernicus, and Galileo, and Newton, and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. To be great is to be misunderstood. Let that sink in. If everyone understands you, if everyone agrees with you, if everyone thinks you're consistent and predictable, you're not leading, you're following. You're not creating, you're copying. The people who change the world are the ones who are willing to look foolish today for the truth they see tomorrow. Emerson continues, with consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do. He may as well concern himself with his shadow on the wall. Your past self doesn't own your future self. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to contradict everything you believed 5 years ago. In fact, if you're not contradicting your past self regularly, you're not learning. You're not evolving. You're dead. So how do you actually live this? How do you break free from the prison of conformity? Emerson gives us the blueprint, and it starts with something shocking. I shun father and mother and wife and brother when my genius calls me. That's extreme. That's uncomfortable. That's exactly the point. He's not saying abandon your family. He's saying nothing, not even the people you love most, should silence the voice of your own soul. He writes, nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. Your mind, your thoughts, your truth. That's the only thing that's truly sacred. Not traditions, not institutions, not other people's expectations. And here's where it gets even more radical. Absolve yourself to yourself, and you shall have the suffrage of the world. Stop seeking approval. Stop waiting for permission. Judge yourself by your own standards, and the world will eventually recognize your worth. But you have to be willing to face the consequences. Emerson doesn't sugarcoat this. For nonconformity, the world whips you with its displeasure. People will judge you. They'll criticize you. They'll try to pull you back down to their level. But then he says something beautiful. The sour faces of the multitude, like their sweet faces, have no deep cause, but are put on and off as the wind blows and a newspaper directs. Their opinions aren't based on truth. They're based on mood, on trends, on what they read this morning. Why would you let that control your life? Emerson challenges us. A man is to carry himself in the presence of all opposition, as if everything were titular and ephemeral but he. You are the constant. Everything else, opinions, trends, institutions, even civilizations, they're temporary. You are eternal. Act like it. Okay, but what does this actually look like in real life? Emerson breaks it down into practical areas. 1. Religion and belief. He says most prayer is weak. Why? Because it's begging. It's looking outside yourself for power. Prayer that craves a particular commodity, anything less than all good, is vicious. Real prayer isn't asking for stuff. It's recognizing the divine power already within you. As soon as the man is at one with God, he will not beg. He will then see prayer in all action. Your work is your prayer. Your life is your worship. Stop looking for magic words. Start living with power. 2. Travel and escapism. This one's controversial. Emerson says, traveling is a fool's paradise. Why? Because people travel thinking they'll find themselves somewhere else, but you bring yourself with you. I pack my trunk, embrace my friends, embark on the sea, and at last wake up in Naples. And there beside me is the stern fact, the sad self, unrelenting, identical, that I fled from. You can't escape yourself by changing locations. fix what's inside, and everywhere becomes home. 3. Imitation versus originality. Insist on yourself. Never imitate. Your gift, your perspective, your voice, only you can bring that to the world. When you copy others, you're offering a cheap imitation instead of the real thing. That which each can do best, none but his maker can teach him. Stop studying how others did it. Start discovering how you will do it. 4. Property and external validation. Here's a hard truth. The reliance on property, including the reliance on governments which protect it, is the want of self-reliance. If your sense of worth depends on what you own, you have no worth. Real wealth is internal. That which a man is, does always by necessity acquire, and what the man acquires is living property, which does not wait the beck of rulers or mobs or revolutions. Who you are can't be taken from you. What you have can disappear in an instant. Invest in being, not having. Now we reach the heart of Emerson's message, the deepest truth. He writes, "Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of principles. Not money, not fame, not other people's approval, not achieving the next goal. You, your principles, your self-reliance." And here's the ultimate realization. Power ceases in the instant of repose. It resides in the moment of transition from a past to a new state. Power isn't in what you've done. It's in what you're becoming. It's in the movement, the growth, the transformation. Emerson says the universe itself is on your side. We lie in the lap of immense intelligence, which makes us receivers of its truth and organs of its activity. You're not alone. You're not separate from the source of all power. You are that power, expressed through a unique individual. When you trust yourself, you're not being arrogant. You're being aligned with the fundamental nature of reality. He concludes with this call to action. Cast the bantling on the rocks, suckle him with the she-wolf's teat. Wintered with the hawk and fox, power and speed be hands and feet. Be wild, be fierce, be untamed. Stop apologizing for your existence. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop waiting for permission. The world doesn't need another follower. It needs you, fully alive, fully authentic, fully self-reliant. Do not think the youth has no force because he cannot speak to you and me. Hark! In the next room, his voice is sufficiently clear and emphatic. It seems he knows how to speak to his contemporaries. You have power. You have voice. You have genius. The only question is, will you use it, or will you keep pretending to be someone else? Here's what I want you to do right now. 1. Identify one area of your life where you're conforming when you should be creating. 2. Identify one belief you're holding on to just because you've always believed it. 3. Identify one dream you've dismissed because it seemed too you. Now, act on them. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready, now. Emerson wrote, "The power which resides in him is new in nature, and none but he knows what that is which he can do. Nor does he know until he has tried. You won't know until you try. So try." And if this video resonated with you, do 2 things. First, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because we're just getting started. We're going deep into the books that actually change lives, not the ones that just make you feel good. Second, share this with one person who needs to hear it. Not 10 people, one person who's playing small, who's dimming their light, who needs permission to be themselves. Give them that permission. And finally, leave a comment below.
Tell me, what's one thing you're going to stop apologizing for? What's one way you're going to practice self-reliance this week? I read every comment. Let's build a community of people who refuse to conform. Remember Emerson's words. What I must do is all that concerns me, not what the people think. Your path, your truth, your life. Now go live it.